Or I can see the shit that's going on in the boxing world, in the boxing landscape. I can see this motherfucking shit. Behind me is who? That's David Morrell. David Morrell Jr. That is. He just got finished stopping Senna Abeko. What was the significance of this fight? In fact, what is the significance of David Morrell? I titled this live, Will David Morrell be sacrificed? So people might say, what do you mean? What do you mean, will it be sacrificed? I mean, will he be fed to David Benavidez Jr.? I don't know. Well, actually, I don't know if Benavidez is Jr. Morrell's last name might be fucking me up. But will he be fed to the Mexican monster David Benavidez as food? Will PBC be using him? Hey, Gio, thanks for the likes. Will PBC be using David Morrell Jr. as food for David Benavidez? Right now, David Morrell shouldn't be fighting David Benavidez. He's too green. He only has what? 10 fights as a professional. 9 knockouts. Can you give me any advice of walking into a boxing gym coming from a kickboxing background? Work extremely hard. Do your road work. Don't be afraid to get hit. Canelo will crush Benavidez. No defense. No, but we're going to get to Canelo. In fact, I believe that, and this is just my opinion, but I believe that Canelo, he would jump in the ring tomorrow with David Morrell Jr. before David Benavidez. But the reason why he can't do that is because he said he didn't fight Benavidez because Benavidez hasn't fought anybody. Benavidez hasn't proven himself, but Benavidez is 28-0. Morrell is 10-0. Canelo has a better chance of beating Morrell because Morrell is a smaller man with less experience. This entire time, David Benavidez has been earning those stripes the hard way. Earning those stripes by fighting exciting fights. Fighting fights where he's getting hit. One time he even got clipped. Fighting fights toe-to-toe. Fighting right in front of people. And now he's up in the competition. He beat Caleb Plant. He also beat Demetrius Andre. Demetrius Andre isn't going to be remembered as a great super middleweight. I mean, a great middleweight, I should say. But he was great. He was just a guy who didn't really get to the big stage. And once he got to the big stage, he didn't perform because he was up against a weight bully and probably a generational talent. So that's just how that's going to go. But yeah, let's keep it rocking, bro. Could Haney beat Charlo, or is Charlo too big? Haney should never fight Charlo. Let me tell y'all how silly y'all sound. People on YouTube are saying Devin Haney is a super middleweight just because he weighed in the fight at 165. That makes no sense. Every fighter on fight night is going to weigh more. Super middleweights, they don't weigh 165 on fight night. They weigh like 170-ish, sometimes 180-ish. And if they really a weight bully, they might be pushing 190. So Haney is not a super middleweight. Haney is a welterweight. But I don't even think he should be fighting at 147 right now because the top guys at 147, they have natural size and power on Haney. Haney's a guy with a long frame, long arms, long limbs, but he's not really a guy with a lot of width in his body. He's not really a guy with the real broad shoulders. He's not really a guy with a lot of muscle, and he doesn't have a lot of natural power. Ryan wants Haney. Thoughts on that? Of course, Ryan wants Haney. That's a good fight for Ryan. If Ryan could knock Devin Haney out, that would boost his esteem because Devin Haney is a guy who has a lot of boxing credibility. But let's get back to the point. This is the point of this live. David Morrell, is he going to be food for David Benavidez? I believe so. I believe the PBC is going to rush him into the fight with David Benavidez. And he's going to get hurt because he doesn't have enough experience to beat Benavidez. The only thing that Morrell has on Benavidez is his footwork. The Cuban footwork, the angles. Benavidez doesn't really show angles when he fights. A lot of times Benavidez, he's front and back, high guard, front and back. A lot of power, a lot of force. But Morrell is still a smaller fighter than Benavidez. And I think Canelo doesn't want to see either one of these guys. Thanks for sharing the live. Thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate that. You seen Bam versus Sonny? No. Morrell beats Canelo easily. I think Morrell would beat Canelo. And I think Benavidez would stop Canelo. But Canelo would jump in the ring with Morrell before Benavidez because he knows Morrell is green. Morrell only has 10 fights. So Canelo has a better chance of beating Morrell. He has slim to no chance of beating Benavidez, if we're being honest. And I don't think any of these fights happen. The fight that's gonna happen, and it's gonna be bad for Morrell's career. Hey, everybody that's sharing on live, I appreciate y'all. But the fight that's gonna happen, although it's gonna be bad for Morrell's career, is gonna be Morrell versus Benavidez, and it's gonna happen sooner rather than later. Morrell has been calling Benavidez out for the past year, although 2 to 3 years ago his coach said he wasn't ready. I believe he's still not ready. Benavidez has 28 professional fights. He fought Caleb Plant. He fought Demetrius Andre. He stepped up in competition. So not only has he fought the tomato cans, the bums, the garbage men, but he's fought actual polished boxers, actual accomplished boxers. Andre was a two-time Olympian. Caleb Plant, former world champion. You understand? So Benavidez has fought top-tier super middleweights, and he's been stopping them. He's been stepping on them like cockroaches, walking straight through them. I'm a David Morrell fan. I want him to fight Uzagati or Darrell. I mean, him fighting Darrell wouldn't do anything, but Darrell is done. Why is Canelo scared? He lost before to Mayweather and Bivol. He lost to Mayweather and Bivol, and he had an excuse for his losses. Everyone that's liking the live, I appreciate it. When Canelo lost to Mayweather, he could say, well, he was too young. He was 23 years old. Even though we know in boxing that's no excuse. At 23, your reflexes are going to be as fast as they're ever going to be. Your body, your physical body is going to be as strong as it's ever going to be. Of course, you get grown man strength, but as far as power, speed, Canelo was at his best when he lost to Floyd physically. But it was an excuse that he was able to use. When he fought Bivol, Bivol was a larger man. Canelo was stepping up in weight. So it was an excuse he was able to use. Benavidez is at the weight class that Canelo has been at and dominated at and has been undisputed at for years now. So there's no excuses. Even though I know, we know that Benavidez is a weight bully, there's really no excuses because Canelo has already fought men Benavidez's size when he went up to light heavyweight. So he doesn't want to fight Benavidez because he has the potential to get his ass whooped with no excuses, no scapegoats, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Benavidez dominates Morrell. Yes, I believe Benavidez would dominate Morrell. I think the only way that Morrell could be competitive, he would have to hold off on that fight for like 3 years. I think Morrell should continue to up the competition. The last time I saw David Morrell, now he knocked out Sena Abeka, right? Sena Abeka, first off, he had an aneurysm, that they found some sort of an aneurysm in his brain. So 2 doctors, they told him he couldn't even fight. This was months ago. He had to go get a third opinion just to be able to get in the ring. So after being stopped like that, the first thing he should do is go get an MRI and see if he's okay. They should be watching this man very closely. He might want to consider retirement. Hopefully he's fine. He can continue his career, yada, yada. But before this fight, David Morrell fought an old man, and he crushed him in 1 round. So David Morrell's competition has been trash. His competition hasn't been anything for us to really get excited about. So he's been performing well. He's showing great angles. He's showing the Cuban footwork and IQ. But ultimately, I don't think that he's gonna have. I don't think he's ultimately gonna have the experience to beat a guy like David Benavidez, who's beat top shelf middleweights. So although he's been having electrifying performances, it's not gonna be enough. After how many fights do they stop padding records? Exactly. But I mean, hey, what's my man name? Julio Cesar Chavez? Wasn't he 81-0 or some dumb shit? That's what they do. Bro, stop gatekeeping the skincare. I don't do skincare. I just work out, man. Morrell shouldn't fight Benavidez till 2027. Thank you. But Benavidez is going to be gone. But Morrell already said that if Benavidez goes up to light heavyweight, he's going to follow him up to light heavyweight. But I think that's a fight that he should wait. He should wait 3 to 4 years before fighting David. They're both still young. Morrell is 25. David is what, 26, 27? They could fight in their early 30s. But right now, Morrell will lose that fight just because of the experience gap, as well as other things. David is more aggressive. David is a larger fighter. I think David has more power, but they both have great power. And they're both matchup nightmares for Canelo because they may have more power than Canelo, but they have longer limbs. They're faster naturally than Canelo. David's feet, they're not super fast, but they're faster than Canelo. I'm talking about Benavidez. And David Morrell's feet are 2 times faster than Canelo's. So David Morrell will box circles around Canelo. He would make it a boxing clinic. And David Benavidez would just walk straight through him. Both of these guys will whoop Canelo's ass, in my opinion. David Morrell will beat Benavidez when they're older. Either way, David wins. Yeah, you're right. Either way, David wins. Either way, Morrell or Benavidez, David will be the top of the middleweight division. You think Morrell will beat David Benavidez? No, I don't think he will beat him. I think his best chance of beating him is to wait 3 to 4 years to make that fight happen. But right now, I think he would give Canelo a run for his money. But Canelo probably would still win because of the experience. Canelo has been in these big fights for years now, since his early 20s. Why Plant ducking? I don't think Plant is ducking. I think Plant is at the tail end of his career. Plant need to fight Morrell. That would be a great fight for Morrell. Great step-up fight. See, Plant, he in the gatekeeper position now. So that y'all making a great point. I didn't even think about that. But that would be a fight that should be the fight that Morrell should be calling for. He shouldn't be calling for Benavidez. It's too early. He needs to fight higher competition and continue to develop himself as a boxer. I think if he get over Benavidez right now, he's gonna get stepped on. Morrell honestly can't stop Plant. Can stop Plant. Yes, he could stop Plant. Because he got some of that same pop that Canelo has, but he has more athleticism, way more angles, a better understanding of angles, and way better feet. So these young lightweights these young super middleweights that are coming after Canelo, they're just naturally more gifted than Canelo was. They're just naturally more physically gifted than Canelo ever was, because Canelo always had slow feet. They coming with size, length, power, and pretty much if the boxing world wasn't protecting Canelo, his legacy will already be over. If the boxing world was not protecting Canelo, his legacy will already be over. You seen Bam, he cooked Sonny. Now, I wasn't really interested in that fight, I'm not going to lie to you. Valenzuela got robbed tonight. How the hell did Valenzuela got robbed? Valenzuela knocked him out, man. Bam Rodriguez is pound for pound. Maybe Bam's last fight was pretty decent. But when you say pound for pound, you mean like top 20? Because I know you ain't talking about top 10. It was a great fight. Bam stopped him. It was a lot of stoppages tonight. If y'all in here, make sure y'all liking the live. Because for whatever reason, TikTok isn't pushing my live tonight, but it is what it is. So make sure y'all liking the live at all times, like if you're in here. Bam soon to be undisputed. Cobra got to pay that 50K. If he bet 50K, he a damn fool. Imagine getting knocked out and having to pay 50K. But let me talk about that fight as well. I already made my point on David Morrell, David Benavidez, and Canelo. The love triangle that's going on right there. I got an auto circular spamming likes. Thanks. Jamal and Morrell is interesting. Very interesting. Jamal Charlo and David Morrell would be very interesting. I think David Morrell I think he would dominate Jamal Charlo right now. Charlo has a lot of athleticism, just like Morrell, but Morrell has an understanding of these angles, man. The angles that he's using as a southpaw, he shows it in every fight. In every fight, he shows he knows how to get around the edge. Every fight, he shows he knows how to attack the body at different angles. Like how Terrence Crawford did against Jose Benavidez. That's how Morrell was doing against Agbeko. Dave Morrell is the second best light skin in the boxing game right now. Who's the first best? Are you going to say Tank Davis? My biggest problem with Charlo, he likes to sit on the ropes too much. He do good, but not good enough. Well, Charlo was a monster before the whole the marital problems and stuff. Before his personal life started to affect his boxing life, he was a monster. But in that last fight, he was supposed to stop Jose Benavidez because Benavidez was jumping up in weight. He's a guy who's already been stopped before. But Charlo, he's getting back into the motion. I don't know if he's ever going to be the monster that he was. But he was a monster. But boxing is so much based on your physical. Of course, it's mental first, but your physical body has to be able to keep up. So if you take years off of boxing, when you come back, there's no saying that your car is going to be in the same form and in the same shape, because as a human being, you're aging. You're getting older. Charlo brothers, they drink. These guys aren't Floyd Mayweather, where he was in the club drinking water. These people, they drink. I don't know if they smoke, but I know they drink, they party. They may not be taking complete care of their body. I don't know if they're training year round. So when you try to take a 2 to 3 year hiatus from boxing and come back, your physical prime, your optimal level of performance will never be the same. And that's just the sad truth about boxing. Charlo made J-Rock see all the great black fighters. God damn. Yeah, Charlo rocked J-Rock. Should Tiafimo be next for Haney? Yes. Tiafimo, Tank, somebody like that. Even Ryan Garcia. But I want Haney to fight somebody with a name, not a Regis Prograis. I want him to fight somebody with a name. But it's not about what I want. It's not about what you want. It's about what Haney and his father, Bill Haney, comes up with. Is Loma the best at 135? Loma lost to Devin Haney. How the hell he gonna be the best at 135? That doesn't make sense. Make sure y'all liking the live. Make sure y'all sharing the live. They don't want to push my live tonight. That's all right, TikTok. I'm gonna keep on doing me, baby. Camboso's beats Loma. No. Camboso will get destroyed by Loma. If anybody want to come up, make sure y'all hit that link. Come up and we can converse on what's been going on in the super middleweight division. These damn Cubans, man, they soon to dominate boxing. Come on, African Americans, we got to step our game up. Yeah, the Cubans are going to be dominating because the Cubans, they have that school, they have that system where guys are learning how to box from the age of 5. They're learning skills and focusing completely on boxing from the age of 5. And they coming up through that school. By the time they're 16, 17, they're polished world champions. In America, a lot of the guys that you see on TV, they grew up wanting to be football players and basketball players. It didn't work out. They didn't find boxing until they was like 15 and 16. Now, you do have some guys out there like the Tank Davises, the Devin Haneys, who knew that they wanted to box from the time they were 8 or 9. They grew up watching boxers and Floyd and all that shit. But a lot of the other guys who are still athletic, they grew up basketball and football. So that's why the American boxers, as a whole, overall, we have a lower skill level because we're not growing up learning the skills like the Cuban boxers. In Cuba, boxing is like how basketball and football is here. I don't think the Cubans could topple African Americans in boxing, be for real. The average Cuban boxer, if you go over to Cuba, they will beat the average African American boxer in America. Keep in mind, it's like 1,500 people in a weight division, right? So if you go to Cuba and you get those young men that grow up boxing and you come over to America and you have them fight all of the hundreds of young African American boxers, there will be more Cubans that will be successful. But at the very top level, yes, I do believe the African American boxers will be at the top. So at the top level, yes, the American boxers are still doing our thing, but at the average level, if you just take the general population, the Cuban boxers doing their thing. Who you got? NUA or Tapales? NUA a bad boy. You think Ortiz could beat Tio? Yes. Bivol beats Canelo at 168. Canelo knows that Bivol will beat him at 168. It's a reason why when Bivol put that offer on the table, Canelo said no. Canelo's thing is this. Canelo doesn't mind losing. It's just that if he loses, he wants to have a ready-made excuse. Canelo wants to have a safe net. He wants to have something that he can hang his hat on and tell his fans. When he lost to Floyd, he said he was too young. He wasn't ready. I was too young, right? So when he lost to Bivol, he was moving up in weight. So he could say Bivol was a larger man and he could say he hurt his hand. But if he fights Bivol at 168, that takes the weight thing out of it. So the only thing he's going to be able to say is, I lost. If he fights David Benavidez and gets fucking mollywopped, David Benavidez has been at middleweight for years as well as Canelo. There's not going to be no excuses. The only thing he's going to be able to say is, damn, I lost. And it's going to take a lot away from his esteem. A lot of the Mexican population in boxing right now, they overrate Canelo. Because Canelo is a great fighter, all-time great fighter, but they act like he's Floyd Mayweather. And he's not. They act like he's one of the top 10 fighters of all time. He's not. And it shows every time he has to prove himself on the highest of levels and the highest of stages. He jumped up and weighed against Dimitri Bivol, lost. When he fought Erislandy Lara, he really lost, but they gave the fight to Canelo. He lost that fight. When he fought Floyd Mayweather, we all saw what happened. Even though the one judge, I think they had it as a draw or some shit, he got completely dominated. And every time there's an excuse, but it's not because Canelo is bad, it's just because they overrate him. They try to act like he's a boxing god. They should be praising Salvador Sanchez or David Benavidez instead. Yeah, but both David Benavidez and Salvador Sanchez had an afro. David Benavidez walks around with cornrows. He has Negro lips. So they're not going to, the Mexicans, they understand when they look at them that they not their people. Salvador Sanchez, a lot of them, they want to let him go. They was happy that Julio Cesar Chavez was able to rise up in the boxing range because Chavez didn't have that fro. Sanchez had a afro. Like this stuff get real racial. Do you think Kermit Moulton is worth the hype? Yes. Of course he worth the hype. Even if he doesn't become a great all-time fighter, when you have these African American boxers, these black boxers, when they have skill, they bring in the crowd, they bring in the money, especially if they're promoted right. The only time that a black fighter is unsuccessful in bringing in a crowd is when his promoter is working against him, like how Bob Arum was working against Floyd. Is Shakur a boring fighter? No, but his last performance was boring. But if you actually been following Shakur's career, he's been putting on great performances. If you're here, make sure you like and live. Hey, Uniel Gonzalez, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Plant, Triple G, Bibble Ryder, Jamal, horrible resumes. No, Caleb Plant's resume is not horrible. Triple G's resume is not horrible. Like, come on, man. They fought Canelo. Bivol beat Canelo. Ryder, I can't speak. I don't know it. But Jamal, his resume is horrible. That's true. I thought you was only doing lives on Patreon. No. I gave an update. I'm going to be doing lives on TikTok, posting them on YouTube. And eventually, probably in 3 years, I'll be doing lives exclusively on Patreon once I continue to build up my subscriber count for Patreon. So once I get to a couple of thousand subscribers, I'll only be doing lives exclusively on Patreon. But this is good for TikTok to keep the page active. I think Loma the best at 135. There's no way Loma could be the best at 135. He already lost to Devin Haney. Devin Haney was undisputed at lightweight at 25. Loma was given 3 chances to become undisputed. Initially, they tried to give him belts as soon as he walked in. He lost his first championship opportunity. They gave him another championship opportunity right off the bat. The second time was when he fought Tio. They was trying to get him to become undisputed. He lost that time. The last time is when he fought Devin Haney. They gave this man 3 times to become undisputed. All 3 times he lost. In my book, 3 strikes, your ass is out. Not only is Loma not the best at 135, he's not even top 5. Loma is a man with a lot of potential, but when the going get tough, in the biggest moments, he doesn't execute. He's like Peyton Manning. All the talent in the world, no execution. Loma was never given the benefit of the doubt. That's a damn lie. They criticized Tank for fighting C+, B- fighters, but never Canelo. Canelo has fought some of the best fighters out there. Canelo's resume and Tank's resume can't even be compared. Canelo's resume is 10 times better than Tank Davis' resume. I mean, and people say that I'm a Canelo hater, but that's the truth. Canelo been in the ring with Floyd, Bivol, Austin, Trout. He been in the ring with the baby Charlo. Even though Charlo was a blown up ass middleweight, Charlo was also undisputed. So you talking about somebody with credentials. Soul Negro, they do, but in boxing, it's who you know. Facts. Loma kind of a gatekeeper right now, honestly. Loma is a gatekeeper, but don't nobody want to go through that gate. To be honest with you, Tank Davis should be trying to fight Lomachenko. I still want to see that fight. I don't think we're gonna get to see that fight because Loma isn't no regular gatekeeper. He's one of the most talented gatekeepers out there. So he's a gatekeeper that don't nobody want to go through that damn gate. Shakur probably the only one who really want to go through that gate and fight Loma and put him on his resume. But I don't think Tank won that fight. That's a dangerous fight for Tank because styles make fights. Loma's a man with a lot of volume, a lot of energy, a lot of footwork, a lot of angles. Tank is a guy who has minimal volume, a lot of power, a lot of skill, great timing. So that's a crazy fight for him, man. And they both short, with short arms. Loma probably top 5 gatekeeper of all time. You drank if Big Charlo was good mentally. I mean, you say, do you mean you think? You think if Big Charlo was good mentally, he could beat Canelo? Yes. But if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. I thought Loma was washed. Nah, Loma, who said Loma was washed? Who said Loma was washed? Rayo with the comeback. Exactly. Rayo, he set the record straight. He probably did win the first fight. They probably did rob him, but he came back and got the stoppage. So he handled business. Or as they say, he was standing on business tonight. He stood on business tonight. Chris Colbert, he looked ashamed after getting knocked out, but he shouldn't be ashamed. He tried to go in there as a smaller man who doesn't have pop. He couldn't keep Valenzuela off of him. He was tough. He stayed in there for as long as he could. He took a lot of big shots. Valenzuela hit him with one big shot too many, knock his ass out. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. But he shouldn't feel ashamed. I mean, he put on a great fight and he wasn't a coward in his fight. A lot of guys, they would have backed down. That motherfucker was there trying to win. So I don't know if it was a tough guy act or he really is that tough, but hey, the shit was respectable, it was commendable. Who has the most power at super middleweight? Probably David Benavidez. David Benavidez has more power than Canelo, believe it or not, because of the size. Now, since David's power is coming from his size, will his power be able to carry him over the top once he moves up to light heavyweight? Will his power allow him to beat Dmitry Bivol? Will his power allow him to beat what's that Russian motherfucker out there that's knocking everybody out? 100% knockout ratio. I can't think of his name. Bertabiev. Will David Benavidez's power allow him to beat Bertabiev? I don't think so. Real fighting is on, boxing is dead. I don't know what you're talking about. This was the greatest year for boxing in years. I fought at light heavyweight. Those guys hit hard, even just jab, of course. Yeah, Artur Bertabiev. Thank y'all, but it already came back to me. What's next for the truth? You talking about Errol Spence? The rematch with Crawford. I saw a video on YouTube where they said Crawford is already training for the rematch. So the rematch is already going to happen. It's set in stone. There is no way Errol, with the amount of pride that he has, there was no way he was going to leave out on a bad note. Not to say that he's going to win the rematch, but he's going to try his best to leave out of boxing on a good note. He's not going to leave out losing like that, being remembered as a guy who got tore up. That's not the dog mentality. Errol Spence is still a dog. He's just a dog that got bit. Now, as far as what's going to happen in the rematch, I think Terrence Crawford is going to win. I think it's going to be a much closer fight. And here's the reason why I think that. Errol Spence, leading up to the fight, and the pre-fight build-ups, in the past 2 to 3 fights, he kept saying the same shit. Errol kept saying, why am I still doing this? I don't know. He country. Let me put my Errol Spence. I don't know why I'm still doing this. I don't know why I'm still boxing. I don't know, I'm doing it for my kids. So I ain't miss out. I ain't miss out. Hey, if anybody want to come up here and talk about, well, really anything boxing related, but if y'all want to come up here and talk about Canelo's chances of beating David Morrell or David Benavidez, hit that link. Come on up. Bam Bam is top 10 pound for pound now. You should give it a look. I think Tank versus Devin will play out similar. They said that Bam knocked somebody out, so I don't think Tank is going to knock Devin out. And I'm going to tell you straight up, Devin at 140, he may be able to deal with Tank's power. Devin looked much stronger. He's a much larger man than Tank. And it really showed. He really filled out at 140. He's talking about going up to 147. So Devin is at this point is a weight bully at 140 already. So, and Tank struggled with Barrios because of Barrios' size. Devin has Barrios' size with footwork. That means he's not going to be there for those big shots that allow Tank to come back against Barrios. Tank was losing. Floyd Mayweather admitted to Tank, you losing on the scorecard. You down on the scorecard. And that's when Tank started to show a little bit of mental breakdown. He was like, why would you tell me that? No, all that bullshit. But Devin Haney is Mario Barrios with better boxing craft, the same size, big as hell, and feet. So he's like a matchup nightmare for Tank Davis at 140. At 135, Tank probably would knock him out because Devin would be depleted. But at 140, Devin got a real good chance of winning that fight, man. Not to say that Tank still won't win and knock him out, but if I had to bet money on that fight right now, after the Loma fight, I would have picked Tank. After Devin's last performance, I'll pick Devin. Tank should have fought Devin at 135, bro. Now Devin is 140. I mean, the same thing happened to Crawford versus Porter, and he gets praised for it. What do you mean the same thing happened to Crawford versus Porter? Hey, Life with GB, thanks for the follow. Make sure y'all liking the live, man. I appreciate everybody in here. He was down. Yeah, Porter was down. Bam might have jumped up over Tank on the pound-for-pound list after his performance tonight. Well, look. Tank is on the pound-for-pound list, but Tank is close to number 10. Tank is on the pound-for-pound list because of what he did, pay-per-view sales, and because of the skill level and the power and the excitement. But when you look at resume, his resume doesn't cut it. So if he's on the pound-for-pound list, you got to put him close to like number 10. But he has to be on there because of boxing. At the end of the day, you have to. The money matters as well. Your ability to attract a crowd matters. Will Benavidez be able to handle Canelo's power? Of course, he's larger than Canelo. David fight started. Yeah, David fight is over, bro. Morrell, he did that man dirty. Look. No problem. I appreciate your honest and non-biased takes. Thanks, Life with GB. Bam can sneak into that 10. Sonny better than all of Tank's opponents. David Morrell versus Andre. Oh, Lord. I don't think... Look. Man, if Andre were to get stopped by Morrell, he probably should consider retirement. I don't know. I don't think Andre should be at middleweight. I mean, super middleweight. I think Andre should have stayed at 160, but Andre wanted a chance to fight Canelo because Canelo is a blown-up middleweight as well. Canelo really is too small for super middleweight. He filled out with the muscle, and he has great power, so it allows him to get away with it. But Andre would have had a much easier time against Canelo than he did against Benavidez and than he would against David Morrell because those are some big boys. Not only are they big, but they have long limbs. Can't believe I saw Berto versus Guerrero in 2023. Facts. But that's called Al Heyman, man, looking out. Al Heyman making sure these senior citizen boxers get paid. And Floyd, I spoke about this on my Patreon, but think about it, man. Robert Guerrero and Andre Berto, both of them fought Floyd Mayweather, and now they both work for Floyd Mayweather. That man, Floyd, is a definition, the epitome of a boss, man. That motherfucker whoop your ass and then give you a job. Oh, man. Floyd Mayweather whoop your ass, then give you a job. RIP Showtime. Losing HBO boxing did enough damage to the sport. This is going to do even more. And right now we have phones, man. You know, you ever heard the saying, if you have a phone and you have a lawyer, you have a computer? If you have a phone, you have boxing. If you have a computer, if you have streaming services like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or whatever the hell else, you have boxing. They said that Jeff Bezos is about to be working with PBC, Amazon Prime boxing. Boxing will never go away. People will always want to see somebody whoop another person's ass for money. And we have all these different streaming services and the technology of today where you could streamline these fights anywhere in all multiple different countries and make money. The only thing about Showtime and HBO is the name that they had. Their name held power. It's HBO, it's Showtime. But we coming into the time period where don't nobody give a fuck about that. You better log into whatever app that's pushing the sport, follow the sport, and support the fighters. Charlo versus Plant, who you got? I'm going to pick Jamal Charlo to knock out Caleb Plant. But that's going to be a close fight. That's a 50-50 fight. Because both of them have been through some shit. I will miss the Showtime commentators, though. I hope Jimmy Lennon Jr. will come on Amazon Prime. Yeah, he a bad motherfucker. Jimmy Lennon, he pretty good. Benavidez got dropped by a jab by Graville. So, Canelo almost got dropped at the beginning of his career. It's boxing. And it was late. It was late in the fight. It was in the 11th round. Benavidez, he might have been tired. People get dropped all the time. Like Rolly said when he was trying to defend Clarissa Shields, but her ungrateful ass tried to lash out at him because she want to act like she a man and shit. Great fighters get dropped all the time. All your favorite fighters have been dropped for the most part. Only some great fighters don't touch the canvas. There's only a few Floyd Mayweathers out there. And Floyd, you can say he got dropped in the what's that motherfucking speedster he fought? The Southpaw? I can't think of his name. Zab Judah. Floyd glove touched the canvas, so technically Floyd, been down. Yeah, Zab Judah. Hey, thank you. I be catching it right before y'all damn type it in the chat, but I still appreciate y'all. If you're in here, make sure you're liking the live. Yeah, I'm going to be live for about 10 more minutes unless somebody want to come up and we can talk about the super middleweight division. If Inoue knocks out Tapales, which he will, he's 2-time undisputed. Is he number 1 pound for pound? No. Terrence Crawford is number 1 pound for pound. Terrence Crawford is already 2-time undisputed. Terrence Crawford put on the most dominant performance against another world-renowned competitor, a man that had 3 belts at 147 that we've ever seen, ever. The only way Inoue could top Terrence Crawford as number 1 pound for pound, and I'm gonna be real honest with you, Inoue would have to jump up, fight Tank Davis, and beat Tank Davis. Other than that, it's really nothing Inoue could do. Inoue is fighting at a weight class where we don't even be knowing who the fuck these people really are. To be honest, one of the reasons why Inoue is popping, why he's popular, has a lot to do with, his background, him being a Japanese fighter. Because people really don't care about that weight class that he's at. All that 120 shit, people don't care about those weight classes. So it's a good thing he's bringing in the Asian market and adding some eyes to boxing. But the only way that he could top Terrence Crawford and what Terrence Crawford did, he would have to jump up to lightweight and fight Tank Davis. Or maybe they could meet at 130-pound catchweight and beat Tank Davis. Then I would have to put him as number 1 pound for pound. Then Mayweather duck Triple G. How in the hell is Mayweather going to duck Triple G? Mayweather has no business. Beat Tank Davis. Then I would have to put him as number 1 pound for pound. Then Mayweather duck Triple G. How in the hell is Mayweather going to duck Triple G? Mayweather has no business fighting Triple G. Floyd Mayweather barely could weigh 154 pounds on fight night. Triple G was a full-blown middleweight. If that knockdown of the Zab Judah fight was counted, would Zab have won the fight? Hell no. The only chance that Zab had to beat Floyd was in the first 3 rounds. Floyd Mayweather was a fighter where if you didn't stop him in the first 3 rounds, that was your ass. He was a genius in the boxing ring. So after the first 3 rounds, once he computed his little shit in his brain, it was over. Nah, that's not the lowest division. It's just being the main show attraction. It's loaded with competition. Bro, 120. I'm letting you know straight up. Casuals are not checking for 120 pounders. They're not. The big shit, the big money is at lightweight. And once you get below 120 pounds, they damn sure not checking for that. But one of the reasons that Naoya Inoue is known, one of the reasons that his name gets mentioned is because he's a Japanese boxer. He's a great boxer, great fighter. But that's the reason why the media pushes him. But the average casual, they don't respect smaller men who could box because in their mind, they looking at it like, damn, you so small. They don't realize that somebody like Naoya Inoue can knock their ass out, even if they 180 pounds. If they're a regular person, Inoue could hit him right in the temple and knock him out. They don't realize that. They just look at it like a size perspective. They looking at 5'3", 5'4" men, skin and bones, 120 pounds. And they're looking at him like, this man is not intimidating at all. That's why in boxing, a heavyweight, even if they're not good, they could go around making good money as a journeyman because so many people get hypnotized by the size of a man. So you could be a fat, sloppy heavyweight, like 6'3", you know what I mean? Chest sagging, second, third trimester, and be out here making $30,000 a night as a journeyman, $20,000 a night, $50,000 a night as a journeyman. You're not even that good. But so many people are coming to the fight to watch these big men brawl and throw hands because people are attracted to size, especially women. Height, size, weight, they're intimidated by those things. When you're 120 pounds as a man, that resonates inside of the average person's head and they be like, this person isn't intimidating. I'm not afraid of this person. Even if it's a professional boxer, a great boxer like Naoya Inoue who could probably kill that person, they can't really put two and two together in real time. Unless they're a fan of boxing, they actually know about the sport. But the average person will see a small man like that and think that they are completely harmless. I'm 6'3", but skin and bones. I mean, 6'3", you still can work with that, man. Go out there, box. People like tall men. Why do you think Sebastian Fundora, his career skyrocketed so fast? He was aggressive, but mainly it was just because he was very tall. People like tall people. If you're tall, you can walk into a room, people going to look at you and be like, damn, who that? Men and women. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Floyd Schofield? Floyd Schofield is great for the light. This is the most, I'm going to say this, then I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here because ain't nobody coming up to talk tonight, and that's fine. We can get it on next time. But Floyd Schofield is just another product in this great lightweight, generational lightweight talent pool. This is the most talented pool of lightweights ever from top to bottom. Floyd Schofield is a guy who's unproven, but many lightweights are unproven, and that's the beautiful thing. Frank Martin, Keyshawn Davis, Floyd Schofield. We're not even talking about the popular names. We're not even talking about Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. But those guys could all be rumbling right now. All rumbling right now. And those would be historic fights for actual boxing fans. Casuals may not even know that those fights occur. But that's how it is, man. You got boxers who, they bad motherfuckers, but they're not popular. But those fights will be serious. Floyd Schofield got power, speed. I don't know about the IQ yet because he's been damn stopping people. Antoine Bess-Haney, I seen him work in the ring. Antoine a bad boy too. They telling me to stay on live. I might stay on live for another 10 minutes. But look, if y'all really want me to stay, come on up, hit the link so you can have more. I don't want to just be talking to myself. Come on up, hit the link. Y'all can give y'all perspectives. And you can get your voice heard as well. Thanks for liking the live if you're in here. What do you think about the AJ Wilder fight? They're both fighting. They're both on a double hitter, I believe. And it's a smart idea because we're going to get the reminder of both of their styles and their power before they match them two up. So I'm going to be covering those fights on Patreon, best believe. If you support the TikTok, make sure you support the Patreon. That's why I break down these fights. Gary Antoine Russell versus Haney. Gary Russell versus Ryan Garcia. Nah, Gary Russell versus Garcia would actually be a good fight. Garcia, one of them dudes that look good losing. Like, excuse me, he put on a good he'll put on a good fight, a good losing effort. He one of those types. Ryan Garcia is the type of fighter where when he get in there with higher level athletes and competitors, boxers with a higher IQ, he could look good losing, like how Oscar De La Hoya. And he fuck around, he might could win if he catch him with a good left hook. But he's a great guy because he bringing a lot of attention. He He bringing a lot of money, and if you get in there, you got a high chance of beating him. And he gonna look good while he losing. Like he gonna make it look like it was competitive, like he really had a shot because of his speed and shit, his combinations. The only thing where he might mess up is the quitting shit. The quitting never looks good. But while he's fighting, he make it look like a pretty decent fight. Bivol versus Berthabiev. I got Bivol beating. No. I got Berthabiev winning. But if Bivol keeps waiting and waiting, trying to let Berthabiev get old, that'd be his best shot. So if Bivol wait 2 years to fight Berthabiev, each year he gets a better chance of beating him because Berthabiev pushing 40 if he's not 40 already. Why isn't Gary Russell talked about in 140-pound division? I don't know. I don't know who he upset, who he pissed off, but they act like that man don't exist. The speed that he showed, he should be somebody that they're trotting out there. So he must have stepped on somebody's toes, fucked his career up. Anytime you got a guy that can throw punches like Gary Russell, the fans will be interested in him. And he can box. I mean, he may not be the number one or maybe even not. The fans will be interested in him. And he can box. I mean, he may not be the number one or maybe even not the number 5 guy, but he's athletic enough and a decent enough boxer with a decent enough experience to go out there and put on a good show. Maybe still a win against somebody. Gary Russell was calling out Tank. That'd have been a great fight. Do you think Haney beats Tank if they fought next year? Yeah, I think Haney would beat Tank. Like I said, the more time that Tank wait to fight Haney, the less chance he has of winning. Because Haney's practicing on his craft at all times. Haney is extremely focused. And now Haney filling out at different weight classes and shit. If Haney would have fought Tank last year, Tank probably would have won. Easy. Because Haney was draining his body just to make lightweight. But all right, I'm going to go and get up out of here. The full live will be available on YouTube. After the AJ and Deontay Wilder fight that's coming up, I don't know if it's this Saturday or next Saturday, I'll be going live again. So make sure if y'all ever want to come up, get your perspective heard, you come up. Gary Russell been trying to get a fight with Tank for how long now? Exactly. It's disappointing Tank has never been in a 50-50 fight. That's because Tank hasn't been going up against 50-50 competition. Yeah, it's the 23rd. Yeah, 23rd. Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, they're going to be on a doubleheader. They're not fighting each other, but they're going to be fighting and showcasing their skills. Really, it's a pre-fight build-up for the big showdown between those two heavyweights. They should have fought years ago, but now Anthony Joshua, he doesn't care so much about losing because he's already lost multiple times. So now he doesn't give a fuck about what people think about him, and that's a mentality that he should have always had. So it was good that Usyk whipped that ass, and who else whipped that ass? The Mexican heavyweight, Andy Ruiz. Ruiz whipped that ass, and a couple fighters whipped that ass. That actually helped Anthony Joshua develop as a man, because as a man, you can only care so much about what other people think about you. If you care too much about what other people think about you, it's going to hinder your potential, your ceiling, your ability to succeed. Anthony Joshua should have never been worried about losing to Deontay Wilder. He should have been worried about trying to be great. If you try to be great, sometimes you might find out I wasn't great, I'm only really good. But you still got to put your best foot forward. All that pussyfooting, it don't get you nowhere. But good thing that they whooped his ass, because now the people have already shown him, the people that was acting like they liked him, the ass kissers, they already shown him a new face. So now he don't care about their opinion as much. And now he's willing to make that Deontay Wilder fight happen. And the fans and everybody's going to be a treat for everybody, including myself. But yeah, we had a good live. Everybody that was in here, thanks for all the likes. Thanks for the views. Thanks for the support. And don't ever be shy to go ahead and hit that little link to join up and get your voice, get your opinion heard. All right, I'm out.